Let's talk. How's your mood? Because everybody told me you were crabby on the airwaves yesterday. Are you crabby?
I was not crabby. I don't get that. I was not. I was not. I just happened to disagree with Josh, who's a friend. I just didn't agree with the take. It doesn't mean I was crabby.
Yeah, so Sip, I listened to that yesterday, and it's pretty clear from your comments publicly, whether on your own show, on other people's shows, or wherever online, that like you speak with Dom Raiola pretty regularly, and so like I think you've got some insight there, and so I thought, frankly, I thought the pushback on that was very strange. Like it seemed like you had more information about the situation than the people you were talking to, and the pushback and sort of that whole interaction seemed really, really strange to me. Like I guess, have a lot of people pushed back on you about kind of the information that
You did seem taken aback at the notion of what a lot of people, I think, say out loud.
yeah, like it seemed like. So I guess do a lot of people come to the table with less information than you and think you're wrong still about the situation? Because that's what it sounded like to me. Like, I'm just being honest.
Oh, he lit the candle, didn't he, Sip? You go ahead and flame on then, Human Torch. He put the quarter in.
I think
he laughed.
I do think I don't know how to answer that. I guess I bristled at the assumption that Dylan was profoundly impacted by Donovan's firing, and it might. I don't even like to say affect his decision making, because I don't like to assume he's in the middle of a decision making process either. So I don't know. I mean, I thought it was an odd conversation, but I will say that I do the same thing sometimes. I make assumptions about topics that I really don't understand, like I think I do. Wow. So I'm not any better than anybody else in that regard.
So, Sip, I do think you touched on something important there, where I think a lot of people are assuming, A, that there is any decision to be made right now, which we don't actually know, right? Like, as far as I'm been told, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, we don't know for sure that there is even a decision that's being made right now. And secondly, and I've said this kind of all along, is I don't know that the Dayton, Donovan, Dylan, if there is a decision being made, is nearly as closely connected as we seem to assume. Do you, where do you think that assumption comes from, first of all, that people just assume, oh, they all have the same last name, clearly this has to affect his decision?
It's laziness, largely.
Fair.
Just being very blunt, it's a lazy way of thinking. And I would tell you, and then Dom wouldn't mind me saying, I know Dom wouldn't mind me saying it, if you just look at the Dayton matter, they are completely separate matters, Dayton and Dylan. One's not related to the other. And the situations aren't related to the other.
Right.
It's not Dayton decommitted, so Dylan must be on his way out. Or Dayton's situation is affects Dylan, or Dylan affects it. No, they're different matters altogether. I'm always a little surprised that people don't understand that. Like, it's not that hard to do this.
But now, because I listen for and you know this, but I'm just gonna say it out loud. You know, I talk to Dom quite a bit, as do you, right?
Right.
But you do realize we both run the risk of knowing things that most people don't know. So when we say something, it's going to maybe come across as ridiculous.
I think that was the frustrating part about yesterday, though, is he was telling you where that information was coming from. He was trying to give the information.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But the incredulous nature. I just kind of was taken aback by how incredulous.
No. One thing I do think we've overstated for a long time, and I'm going to use me. This isn't anything to do with yesterday, because I said this a month and a half ago. I do think it's extremely difficult and it's complicated to have a nephew playing, and siblings, because what I think we don't understand is the very nature of siblings, right? It's not always
It's different for everybody.
It's different for everybody, and it's complicated, right? Like I've gone a year or so without talking to my sister, right? It's not always
Right.
can't find like so we did make a lot of assumptions, I think, about Dom and Donnie that may or may not have been true about like the same page or connected or not connected or whatever it is, right? I don't want to get into family business, but I'm just saying it's a lot more complicated than just, hey man, you're my brother, look out for me.
Yeah,
like that's not how it happens.
We make a lot of assumptions about family dynamics that we don't know anything about.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I said it, so because I said it 2 months ago. So I feel like I'm like, you guys, this is harder than you think. This isn't like, hey, let's gang up as a family and take over Lincoln. Like there was no that's you know what I mean?
Also, Sip, and I swear to God, we'll let you talk at some point. But the other thing,
Okay.
I feel like I've asked him very long questions. My other thing is, it also seems like we misunderstand that Dylan is his own person, and that like it seems like we think one person is making decisions for everyone in that family, and that seems like a big assumption to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of assumptions, and that's another one. That for sure. Yeah, Dylan. And then we do this interesting thing too about Dylan, and we do this with a lot of people, that we sort of have come to this. We've come to this part of college football where we treat the kids. That people will say, well, you got to pay them, you know, in some cases millions of dollars. They're pros. But then when a situation arises, no, they're kids. They're kids. These are just kids. So they try to play it on both sides. Dylan can think for himself. And if there is a decision to be made, Dylan will make it. That's the way I understand it, and that's the way it is. Again, there are people just make assumptions. We do that. I do it too. I catch myself doing it with generally like non-Nebraska football related topics. I'll do that sometimes. I try to catch myself, but no, this is a Dylan. If there's a decision to be made, Dylan will make it. You know, and I imagine there's input, but to varying levels, and sometimes those levels depend on time. I mean, I think 2 years ago he might have listened to people a little bit more, but now that he's advanced a couple of years, he's probably more apt to make his own decision on a situation like that.
So we're gonna get to these hires in a second, but I will say this: we did a show at headquarters however long ago that was, and I was talking about Coach Rule's comments about Glenn Thomas and this, that, and the other. And one of the things that I said that I felt pretty good about was we assume that because there's this Dylan fatigue, right? And we assume that that's coming from the family. So there are these narratives out there that, oh, they're this and they're that. And I'm like, I don't think that's the case. Like, I think Dom wants Dylan coached hard. I think Donnie's want to protect the offensive line, and there has to be some give and take there. Like, I think whatever it was that we were heaping on the family that we're kind of tired of didn't come from the family. It came from the optics of what we saw playing out through like social media or whatever. Like, I don't think, and I'm not just defending Dom because I love Dom. I'm just saying, like, we assumed a lot of things were happening that I'm not so sure that's what the family's perspective on it was.
I think the family's perspective, the reason I don't mind.
Like, the fatigue didn't come from, I don't know where the source was, but it didn't seem like it was them being driven.
Yeah, the reason I am comfortable with this Raiola Nebraska marriage, there's a lot of reasons, but the main reason is it's pure to me. The Raiolas, see, there was a question the other day about Dylan and his desire to become an NFL player. Yeah, of course he has that desire. But you know what his main focus is? Winning. They came here. See, there's a purity to the Raiolas that I appreciate. I don't know that people understand. there's always these outlying conversations, these offshoot conversations that happen. But to me, there's a very central conversation. They came here to help change Nebraska and lead it back into a program that has sustained national relevance, to make it a playoff team, in short.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a purity there that I always go to. That's Dom wants, first and foremost, this family wants to win for Nebraska. They're not a selfish family. They want to win. They want to see a program moving toward that, and that their son can help. So to me, it's just pure. It's not that I don't overcomplicate it. They want to win, and Dylan wants to win at a high level.